One of the things that I find surprising in the last, in relation to a couple of videos I made about planning difficulties that people had. They built houses or they carried out developments without planning permission, and then they got into difficulty with the local authority, who commenced enforcement proceedings against them. One of the cases was in County Meath, involving a very large house which was refused planning permission a number of times, and there has been a lot of legal proceedings, legal costs incurred by Meath County Council in pursuing the couple, and the couple have agreed from time to time to have the house destroyed, quite frankly, as part of a settlement of the court proceedings. But they haven't gone ahead, and they have launched last minute applications to the High Court, injunction applications, all sorts of applications, to try to prevent the house being knocked. There was a more recent video that I made in relation to a property in Phibsborough in Dublin. And Phibsborough is a place that I'm familiar with, because the first business I had was close to Phibsborough in Dublin. It was down at Hart's Corner, which is very close to Phibsborough. And this is a part of Dublin that I'm very familiar with, and fond of fond memories of, rather. And it also had a planning case there relatively recently, where Dublin City Council was taking enforcement action against a couple who had carried out an unauthorised development. I think they had converted their attic and had put in dormer windows in the front, and or Velux windows in the front, but basically they didn't have planning permission, and Dublin City Council were looking to pursue them through the courts to enforce the planning laws. And a huge amount, and what I found very, very surprising, is that a huge amount of the comments were critical of the planning authorities. On my YouTube channel, that is, comments on my YouTube channel. And I found that surprising. Now, there was obviously some support for the planning laws being enforced and applied and so on, but the amount of sympathy and the amount of comments in support of the transgressors, as it were, the people who were actually guilty of making an unlawful or unauthorised development, the amount of support for them was incredible. And there was this attitude that the state or the local authority or the planning authority or whoever was somehow doing down and putting down the small man and so on. And there's this element of, I suppose, the battle between the underdog and the incumbent, the authority, a battle between David and Goliath and so on. But I was surprised, though, to see the level of support for people who simply ignored the planning laws, planning regulations, building regulations, and went ahead without planning permission and carried out an unauthorised development. I'm surprised to see the level of support for them, because it doesn't take too much imagination or thought to recognise that if, for example, people can build what they like, where they like, when they like, without any regard for planning laws, well then we have a serious potential problem in our society, in our country. And the next thing is, I could be building or looking to build a casino, for example, here in rural North Kildare, and that's obviously a ridiculous proposition, a ridiculous idea. But if other people can get away with planning breaches without being enforced, then why can't I? And why can't I build what I want? So when I say building a casino, I'm being slightly facetious, but the point is very much the same, and that is the question of building what you like without any regard for society at large, for the built or unbuilt environment, without any regard for planning laws, permits, permissions, building regulations, and so on and so on. And I think it's an absurd proposition, quite frankly, that you could do that. And yet people seem to be arguing for that by their comments when I publish a video about a local authority or planning authority pursuing an action, an enforcement action against people who carry out an unauthorised development. It surprises me, and I don't know to what extent these comments are reflective of people's views at large, or whether it's the usual people will are perfectly happy and willing to adhere to the planning laws and recognise that they're a good thing, and may watch the video and not comment. And the people who are commenting may well just be people who have a thing against authority, have a thing against the state, have a thing against the government, the status quo, the establishment, call it what you like. There is an element of that, and there's an element of a group or a cohort of people who will oppose everything, and anytime they think there's an opportunity to give a bloody eye to the incumbent, the state as it were, well then they'll take it. Anyway, I'd be interested to hear your view as to the planning laws and whether or how vigorously they should be enforced, and should people be held accountable for carrying out unauthorised developments and firing away and doing what they like, and then looking for retention permission. I'd be interested to hear your views. Leave a comment down below. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up button. Out of my Vespa here, it's Paddy's weekend 2025. It's Saturday, a nice day, beautiful dry day, and this is Millerstown. This particular area is Millerstown, near my home in Broadford, County Kildare. We're in North Kildare, and I'm just going for a spin because it's a beautiful day, and I'm going to have a few beers later on to chill out and relax and get the Paddy's weekend festivities off to a reasonable start. Hit the thumbs up button down below if you like the video. Thank you very much.